r/relationships. Manadaper2258 says, long distance boyfriend 32 male invited me 31 female to visit, then acted like he didn't want me there. Do I leave? My boyfriend 32 male and I 31 female dated in the same city for 6 months until he got a job in a different state. We split up, but then he reached out a few months later and we got back together, but decided to figure out the details during a visit. I went to go see him and was very excited. When I got there, however, I was surprised to see that he was acting pretty aloof with me. He told me how happy he was in his new life, how he couldn't imagine living anywhere else, and didn't understand why people didn't live in his new town. He also criticized me for calling his new town by an old nickname, pointed out someone he had made out with during our break, and said she was needy, and joked about how many people he could hypothetically get within his new town. It all made me feel like an outsider or awkward interloper who didn't belong. I told him I was happy for him, but also that his over-the-top happiness made me wonder whether he was trying to send me a message, either that he was over me, or he wanted me to move out, or something. He shut down and got really upset. He said that he was just acting normal, and that if there was any weirdness, then it must be something about me that was causing that. He got upset that I would criticize him for his happiness and project my own insecurities of our relationship onto him unfairly. I told him that I guessed I misread things. We haven't talked about it again, except when he told me he talked to his friends and told me they said he was not overly happy, and so again I must be the one unfairly projecting my feelings. What do I do? Leave? Talk about it again? Too long. Didn't read. LDRBF invited me to see him, then acted distant and happy without. Just Menfg says, didn't read the whole post, but my thought was he just has a rhythm and a usual day-to-day activities. Blanca69 says, you deserve better op. You deserve a person who will light up when they see you. You deserve a person who asks you what they can do to make your stay there with them as well as your relationship better. This guy isn't it. His comment about the other girl is so tacky and just yuck. Leave now and have fun at home with your friends who truly love and enjoy your presence. Farboyson Barry 8316 says, leave immediately and never contact him again. Saren Whippity says, listen to your gut, your relationship ended when he moved. Sbericisa Cake 22 says, how is this a question? You should have left immediately. Ice Cold MILF says, I feel like he's just trying to show you how well he's doing without you and how he doesn't need you to be happy. None of this is likely true, but it sure feels like he's trying to prove something that isn't necessarily true. Pack your bags, go home, and block him. You don't need a man like this in your life in any form. Waterfluffle says, he's acting like this at his big old age of 32. Grow up, dude. Future_faking says, he sounds like an absolute weirdo who invites someone to visit and then treats them like this. Plus the gaslighting and telling his friends about your conversations is a huge red flag. This relationship sounds very over. If you're enjoying your time there as a friend, then just treat it as a little vacation, but if he's still being a douche, leave. Don't even make a big deal about it. Once you get home, block and ignore. Good riddance. You deserve better. Hither Steel says, Alf, I had the same thing happen to me. She was done with our relationship and probably cheating. I would have probably stuck with it too if it wasn't for her kind roommate giving me a reality check. Long distance relationships are hard, and he's obviously not 100% on board. Cut your losses and move on, emo. Lil Scrub Kev says, I told him I was happy for him, but also that his over-the-top happiness made me wonder whether he was trying to send me a message, either that he was over me, or he wanted me to move out, or something. He didn't make you think that. You thought that yourself. Stranger Danger says, future you will be so disappointed if you waste a precious summer on this man. He's so tacky. Joel Withpin says, he reconnected with you during a moment when his ego was bruised, very likely when the woman he claimed to have made out with let him know she wasn't interested. He figured you would agree and you would do the work to visit him, so really what did he have to lose? This gave him the fodder to feel good about himself and gave him balm for his crushed ego. Subsequently, as days and weeks went by, he wasn't feeling all that needy anymore, but you were already scheduled to come out to visit. So because he clearly is a not to mention immature, rather than communicate all of this, he was just plain nasty. Get the heck out of Dodge and be thankful you have dodged a huge messy childish immature idiot here. Go. Live your best life. The people who need to find you will find you. r/relationships. Sid Positive says, should I, F26, block my sister-in-law, F24, on IG for trying to ruin my relationship with in-laws? I, F26, went on vacation and I decided to wear a short summer dress on the trip that my husband, M30, didn't mind me wearing. A short floral sundress, it was 88 degrees outside, and our friends were in booty shorts, for reference. A friend, F30, decided to post a group photo of us on Instagram. My sister-in-law saw this picture and told her mom about how I'm indecent and dressed inappropriately because my dress did not go past my knees. My husband came home to paragraph texts from Sil about how has changed after marriage and my failure to dress conservatively was the last straw. I was very pissed off, not because I care about her opinion, but because she told my mother-in-law, F50s, and father-in-law, M60s, whom I have developed a good relationship with. My husband's parents also called him and lectured him. We are grown adults and my husband is getting lectured about my clothes. Of course, my husband defended me and was on my side. After some reflection, I decided I should block my Sil on Instagram, so she is not micromanaging me. However, my husband is against it. My husband tried his best to mend the relationship between my Sil and us, but my Sil forgave him and held a grudge against me instead. I do not want to worry about what I post and what I wear because of his sister. I feel like if I have her on my social media, she will find things that will cause problems between us. But if I block her, I will cause problems between us. So it is a lose-lose situation and I rather block her. Should I go ahead and block my Sil, or am I being petty? I feel like this is creating safe boundaries for me, but not sure if cutting her off social media would be a good idea. TL, Dr. Sil, F24, was upset I, F26, wore a short sundress on an Instagram picture and told her family that I was indecent. Used the opportunity to attack me and my husband, M30. Husband is against me blocking her in fear it will cause more issues, but I want to block her so she does not micromanage me. What should I do? Mickey Snus says, misery loves company. It seems like somewhere along the line you two had a conflict and it's been eating your Sil alive. Kill her with kindness and others, including your in-laws, will recognize that your Sil is rash and maybe they shouldn't have let that affect how they view you. Stocklord says, nobody can tell you what to dress. That is 100% fact. Only you know the nature of how revealing it was. If it was PG-13 then, frig her. However, you can't force them to agree with your dress sense, and obviously, if it was a little more north of the border than others then people might infer the wrong things. Most women after marriage tend to tone certain aspects of that lifestyle in. I often hear the phrase I don't dress for men, I dress for me. Yeah, true, but there's a lot of unpleasant men out there unfortunately, who are yet to evolve out of, ein caves. So you might not be dressing for them, but nonetheless giving them a show, depending on just how far you went with it. TLF 555 says, Sil, Mill, and Phil need to mind their own business. Before blocking her, I would suggest confronting her directly. Sil, I always thought we had a friendly relationship. So I was upset to hear that you went behind my back and criticized my clothing to my husband. First off, my husband does not police my clothing, and the fact that his family is asking him to do so is completely offensive to me. I'm a grown woman, perfectly capable of choosing my own clothing. Why would you make such a statement? Impressive Stretch 37 says, block that unhappy sister-in-law of yours. Lost Oil 5478 says, you should block her. You're allowed to set boundaries. You choose what to do, and it is up to everyone else how they behave. Trying to appease a bully won't work. It's your husband's job to support you. If he can't stand up to his sister, that's his problem. You're allowed to choose your boundary, and you're allowed to state politely what that is, and leave their choices on how to react up to them. Corfis74 says, I don't have IG, but is there a way you can not block her, but assign her to a contact group that doesn't see any of your posts, unless you specifically include her? Midlife Agreed Life says, good God, block her already. Tell your husband he's either for you, or he's against you. There's no in between. Your IG is your business, not his or your Sil's. Dow Child says, of course it will cause more issues, cause your in-laws apparently have no other things to do than judge people. Are you in a region/culture where society will comment on your outfits or speak about how you act? Safety comes first, and it sounds a bit like the rules for the club has instilled quite some fear. If you're in an area where modesty is not as much of an issue, ignore it, but in certain places they can get dangerous if you don't follow. Social media is then part of the package. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.